Abbott, Julia Garner, John Hawks, Elizabeth Olsen, Sarah Paulson, and Hugh Dancy. And I'd also like to bring up my cinematographer Jody Lee Lipes and my editor Zac Stuart-Pontier, who in between production and post are my other half. So yeah. So the question was what research we did. I did lots of research. I wanted to do something about a cult that was contemporary. I think oftentimes movies that deal with that are period, or not period, but just older, set in the 60s, 70s, a bit over the top. And I wanted to do something contemporary and that I thought would be sort of real and so I just read a lot about all different groups and really found that just the methods of manipulation and the abuse is all the same. It's whether it's religion, no matter what religion it is, it seems like there's just a consistency. And then a friend of mine, as I started writing the script, actually came forward and was very generous and shared with me her experiences, that she'd been through something similar, and so a lot of the particular instances within the cult are based on her experience. Anyone want to add to that?
I mean, it was just really talking with Sean also, where his inspiration came from.
Do you want to step over? Do you guys want to come over here?
I guess Sean, just talking with him about his personal experience and that he had with his friends, and know that it's not this like fictitious, exaggerated thing that actually I know a few people, when I was telling them I was doing this movie, who were like, oh yeah, my parents were in a cult, and then I was born in a cult, and then we ran away, and it's like it's everywhere, and so it's not this like crazy outlandish idea. It's actually very rooted in something that's real, that's taboo. But yeah.
Yes, just over here.
I really enjoyed your short last year, and I'd be really interested to know what the process was from short to feature, or almost seems like this was the sequel to that short.
Yeah. So I guess process of going from the short that I made last year that was here to the feature, and so as I was working on the feature and trying to get it made last year, it just wasn't ready, and so I wanted to direct something. So we decided to make the short, and this film is about what happens when she leaves, and I had done all this research and found all these methods about how people get involved, and I just wanted to do a short on that was an example of those different stages, and the short acts as showing those different stages of how someone gets involved.
Right down front here.
How long did principal photography last?
A month. Five weeks, 4 or 5 weeks. Yeah. We shot in August and September.
Okay, just go to the credits.
Wow. I am still falling over the cliff. Why was the choice for editing to end like that? I'm still in free fall.
I wanted I wanted it to be, experiences like this take years to get over. I mean, my friend who helped me, it was 7 years later. It was the first time she'd ever talked about it with anyone except a special therapist. And so I wanted to make a film that explored just the first 2 or 3 weeks of leaving, and the different elements of that. And so it would just seem like the right place to end because it's what she's left with and living with. She hasn't found her place yet, and she's haunted by this thing, whether it's there or not. Thank you. Yeah. Yeah.
You did your research for this, and for those of you that are obviously acting in it, is there some sort of connection for you between a gang mentality, a cult mentality, and needing a family, and acceptance of some kind?
Yeah, absolutely. I think. Oh yeah, I'm sorry. I'm new at this. Is there a relationship between?
Yeah, is there a relationship between people who go to gangs and cults and young people who need a family? Is there an overall arc to that?
I think the question is whether there's a relationship between cults and gangs and needing a family. Is there a continuum there?
Yes.
That's sort of, I guess, after spending so long looking at where this came from, I think I've always been fascinated with why people feel the need to be a part of a group. I remember being a little kid in a very religious school and sitting in prayer and just thinking, what is everyone doing? Why are they chanting? But over my life, found my own groups to be a part of. And so I think that it's a very basic human need to belong to something, and then also find your identity in terms of people and a group. I mean, I think we're all find a place in our own families, and then we have find a different place at work and a different place in our church, and we all find different roles in our life. And that's, what the film's about, is about her trying to find that place. I'd love to, if anyone wants to add. Sorry, it's weird. I really don't know why, so it's kind of hard to carry this in.
Are there any other questions? Right up in the balcony there, yes.
I was wondering if the cast could speak just a little bit about, obviously, making a film is not a cult experience, but I wonder what it's like filming both with the sisters and trying to. Oh, thanks.
Wondering if the cast could speak to what it was like filming both the experience of the cult. Obviously, there are filmmakers there, and so it's not a true cult, but I imagine the experience was probably a bit intense. And then also what it was like for the sisters to then have that sort of, I don't know if you filmed it in order or how you managed it, but what that was like for both sides in both spaces.
Yeah, we did. We shot the cult stuff first, and then we moved to the lake house. I'd love to have you guys. Come on, it'd be great.
Sorry. So, do you want to know the difference or the experiences from both, and if they were shared? I guess we actually kind of lived like a commune when we were filming the farm stuff. We were all living on the same location. It was really, really a fun, pleasant time, and we all just kind of hung out around this farm during when we were on location, and just actually passed around a guitar when we weren't there, which is, and I don't play, but everyone else does. And I guess when Sarah came and Hugh for rehearsals before we moved to the different location, Sarah and I were talking about how much she doesn't actually want to know about what our experiences were there, and because she doesn't, so she discovers that in the script or in the film. And is anything else? Sorry.
It was really intense.
intense? Sorry, I was just wondering if it was very intense at the cult, but it sounds like actually as actors.
No, it was
you
actually
enjoyed
very
it.
peaceful, and that's what
Very
actually
peaceful.
made it a little bit, yeah, it made it a little bit kinder to shoot certain cult scenes because it was a very friendly environment. That's, yeah, exactly. Oh, yeah, we just...
Yeah, there was no cell phones or internet on the farm at all. There was like one landline, and it was, always taken. So when you were there was no way to get in touch with anybody.
I think we have time for one more question. Right down front here.
My question is, how long did it take to edit it because of the interspersing of like the flashbacks?
Zach, you want to tell? You want me to well, it was a very quick process. I did the screenwriters lab in January and went back and did the directors lab in June, and the producers were able to sort of raise the money, and it was an insane schedule. And if any of you know Josh Mond, you'll know that he's a tenacious man, and he's really sort of the driving force, pushing things forward and for us. And so we moved really quickly, and so we shot in August and September, and we wanted to be here, and so Zac was cutting every day. We got footage, so we watched an assembly, I think like 3 days after we were done shooting, and then Zac and I locked ourselves up and cut every day until December 23rd. And finished it on Monday.
Thank you very much. Don't forget to vote.
One thing. We all love this guy so much, and we're so proud of him. I just wanted to say how happy I am to see him standing here.